Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at another cryptic crossword. This is from the Daily Mail one per day archive. A link to this can be found in the video description. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start on the Saturday 3rd of May crossword. Whew, a lot of ads showing on the screen. Okay, so every cryptic crossword clue is going to have, or generally every cryptic crossword clue is going to have two definitions. Or clues in there. There's likely to be a straightforward definition. There's likely to be some sort of wordplay or similar. Okay, let's take a look, see what we've got. A present and former US president in English city. I mean, present and former. And the present president is Trump. I mean, if we were just looking at a former US president and an English city and taking that as our double definition, I'd be tempted to go with Lincoln, although it doesn't quite work. Okay, I'm not seeing that one, so let's try a different one. We're at one down. What about male sheep getting agitated? What about a male sheep is a ram? If you're getting agitated, it can be, you can ramp up. Doesn't really make sense. Not like the letters anyway. Ramp up. I'm not seeing it. Console, possibly. Coming back, partly. For bonus. Console, possibly. Coming back, partly. No, not seeing that. Look in shade for hooker. Interesting surface reading. Look in shade for hooker. Add foe. I'm not seeing that one. A good start to the video here. Officer caught by a Spanish island. Okay, this one. So an officer could be a major. Caught. Let's see if we can see this in the dictionary. But can be. The word caught can be abbreviated to C. It's a cricketing terminology. And A. C. C. Baseball catcher, football center. I mean, C can be a lot of stuff. US military. All right, so in the about 100 definitions that we've got there, I can't see caught in there, but it is one. Okay, so gives us, so major CA gives us Mallorca, which is a Spanish island, I think it was. Yeah, Spanish island. Got a J here. He tries to do his job. he tries to do his job. Not seeing it. Grub of a popular variety. Okay, in this one here, so surface reading, some sort of popular food. Actually, this is the phrase of a here is saying that within the phrase popular variety, we've got a series of letters. We've got lava that is of a popular variety. We've got the L-A-R-V-A in a row there, so that is giving us our answer. Console, possibly. Okay, now we've got that. Now we've got that letter there. I can see what the answer to this is. This is actually very similar. This is another hidden. That's what the word partly here is doing. So we've got our definition at the end, bonus, and then in the phrase console possibly, we've partly got our word that means bonus, except in this case it's coming back. So there's our L, but instead of going for ulpo and going forward to get the L in the second place, we're going to start with the P and come back. So PLU. PLUS plus catches up with an old Greek. Catches up with. So I'm thinking this is a double definition. Thinking this is an old Greek, like a Trojan, Cretan, something like that. It also means catches up with. I mean, Spartan fits, but why would that work? Catch up with Spartan. I'm not seeing why, so let's not put it in quite yet, but there's every chance that's a T for the crossing letter. Doctor behind preliminary version. Preliminary version could be a test. Well, I'm not seeing that one either. We're starting to run out of crossing letters to get here that aren't interacting with a clue that we've already got. Clergyman coming in to guide a congregation. Clergyman coming. Okay, actually this N does help. So I think it's our third hidden already out of 4 clues. So a clergyman. So first of all, again, surface reading, very nice here. Clergyman coming in to guide a congregation feels like a very natural sentence. We're looking for a clergyman as our definition, and it's in the phrase coming in to guide a congregation. Here, it's going to be a deacon. So given that we've got the S and the A and the N, I'm pretty sure that is going to be Spartan, but why is that? Catches up with an. So an probably just reads there. Catches up with. So catches up with or catches up, spart. It's not a phrase I know, a word I know. Catches up with. No, it's not seeing the word spart, but. And actually, given the number of Greek people from a Greek city or city-state that will end in an N. I'm not overly convinced on. I'm going to take that out for now. But we'll see. Let's give this one more try. A doctor behind a preliminary version. Preliminary version, test, prototype. No, behind preliminary. Behind is very much a positional word. So if we got preliminary, is this maybe a word that means version? We've got a doctor behind here. So preliminary, 3 letters, doctor, 2 letters, maybe. We've got the E on here now, so let's try it. Let's have another look at this. He tries to do his job. He tries to do his job. Again, surface reading, very nice on this one. Like it feels like just a good standalone sentence. It's hard to work out what part is the clue, is the definition, and what part is something. Probably means that it's kind of a cryptic definition. A definition so specific that we can only really have one thing for it. Something said about former currency. Okay, this one is gettable. So something said is our definition, and about former currency is our wordplay. Something is about, so in an email sense, RE, about, former currency, mark from Germany gives us remark, something said, remark. Baseball player in jug. Okay, this is a nice easy one at least. This is a double definition. A jug could be a pitcher, and that's also a position on a baseball team. What about male sheep getting agitated? I mean, that P there definitely makes that feel like it's an up, doesn't it? But let's see. Little bird wrapped in a scarf in church. Okay. Again, the surface reading of this is quite nice. A little bird wrapped in a scarf in church is a very specific mental picture. So I think it's another hidden. So you just want to take 10 seconds to, actually no, once you know it's a hidden, it's easy, isn't it? There's only one H in this whole thing. The answer is going to be finch. So we've got in here, scarf in church, finch hidden, which is a little bird. We've got an N on here now. Look for shade in hooker. So hooker going to be rod? No, not sure. Present and former US president in English city. Okay. So I think what we've got here is we've got 2 presidents, a present president. Or no, maybe not. But I think we are ending in a former US president, and given the letters that we've got, then Gerald Ford feels very reasonable. And then we've got an English city that will end in Ford, and there's a few of those, you know, Guildford, Ilford. we'll have some. We get this one, treadle corrected and connected. So I notice that treadle has 7 letters. The word corrected here could mean that we're taking those letters and we're correcting them, we're moving them to their correct positions. It's an anagram. We've then got connected being our definition. To have it as the same part of speech, it would make sense to have ed at the end, probably looking for a past tense verb. So we've got TED, so we've got READ to play around with here. READ, sorry, that's not right, is it? REAL. Connected, alerted. Do I like that? Not sure I do like that. Maybe I do. Well, let's have a look. ALE. Oh, sorry. ALER, alerted. Do I think that alerted and connected are synonymous? What would the alternatives be? Reeled? Leered? Seems okay. Alerted. Connected. I'm not sure. It seems reasonable, but alright, what we got here then? Sacred nuts in trees. Again, the surface reading of this is fairly reasonable. Like, you get nuts in trees, some of those nuts might be holy or sacred. It seems reasonable. I think here nuts is going to be an anagram indicator, and sacred has 6 letters, whereas in trees has 7 and trees has 5. So let's assume that we're anagramming sacred and getting trees. I think cedars is going to be our answer. Engineers left in charge for survival. So engineers could be a reference to the Royal Engineers. It's the engineering corps of the British Army. Left in charge. Left, fairly obvious acronym, left and right. You'll see that on things. In charge, again, a kind of military piece, I think. IC, relic then for survival. Do I like that? Like, if something is a surviving item, then it's a relic. If something has survived, since the Egyptian times, it's an Egyptian relic. So it doesn't feel ridiculous, but it doesn't quite feel right in terms of like the part of speech. Survival, relic. Let's see what we get in terms of crossing letters. Woman, beginning to mourn. First murder victim. So beginning here, I think, is showing us we need to take a first letter of a word. We can either take woman or mourn. And then depending on like which one of those we take, it very much gives rise to what our wordplay and definition are. So if we're taking the first letter of woman, then we'll want a verb that means to mourn or to mourn first. And then we'll want our definition to be first murder victim or murder victim. The first murder victim, if we look back to our Bible studies, was Abel. We've already got an L at the end. So actually, I'm going to put Abel at the end. I'm going to take the beginning to mourn, and that gives us Mabel, which is a woman's name. So woman is our definition. Makes me like that L as well, incidentally. South African, sheltering unknown dog. South African. So sheltering to me implies that something is covering something. So I'm thinking we're looking for a word for South African that's sheltering an unknown. And unknowns can be, like in a mathematical context, an X or a Y, like a dependent or independent variable. That's referring to. Unknown dog. That gives a dog that begins in B and is 5 letters. Beagle's too long. I don't know. What would a South African be anyway? A South African sheltering, maybe? So a special sort of hut. If that was the case, then the unknown is likely Y here, again giving us a dog. Does that give us anything in here? Expression used for part of the school year? No, it does not. So an expression used could be a term. Part of a school year is a term, so that's just a straight double definition. South African. Oh, what about? Now, I didn't know this was a term for a South African, but there's a war that the British took part in, the Boer War. So I'm wondering if Boer could be a reference to the people that the British were fighting against, the Boers in South Africa. If that's sheltering an unknown X, that gives us Boxer, which is a type of dog. Incidentally, we've got a J and an X here already. There's every chance, because those are quite unusual letters in a crossword, that this is going to end up being a pangram where all the letters are used. Dictionary for the French team to study. Well, with an X in there, I think there's very few words that this can be. Also, the French, usually le, la, or lay. This is, if we assume that goes at the start. Dictionary for the French team to study. So I don't think it takes too much imagination to see here that a lexicon is going to be a dictionary. XI here is the Roman numerals for number 11, which is the size of a football team. You talk about the starting 11, so I think that's reasonable. And then a study can be a con. So that's a slightly odd one. So should we look that one up quickly? Okay, I think given the crossing letters, this one here becomes a lot easier. Oh, come on, dictionary. Con. Oh, I don't want the. We use the British dictionary here. If it loads up. So over here then, animal turning to legendary city. I think at this point we can see the legendary city is going to be Camelot, at which point we can justify this by saying, well, camel is an animal and OT is turning the word to around. Okay, that feels good. A knot for elderly relative. This is a double definition. There's various sorts of knots. You've got hitch knot, noose knot, etc. One knot that you can have is a granny knot. And obviously granny is an elderly relative. So there's our answer. Taking a chance, hide in oil platform. Okay. So again, I think here it's just a case of trying to break this down and work out what our definition might be. So oil platform could be a definition. Hide in oil platform feels unlikely, or taking a chance might be our definition. Now I can't think of any 7-letter words for oil platform, but I can think of a 3-letter word, rig. We've got an R here anyway. So if I know, given that, looking at this clue, taking a chance, hide in oil platform, I'm thinking that I need to probably put a word for hide in oil platform. So we're going to have a G at the end. And then the question is this RI or something else? Now words for a hide, there's a few different things that you can have with hide. Hide can be, as in hide and seek, I'm going to go and hide. You've got as a noun as well for a similar thing. You've got a bird hide, then it's a structure in which you can hide from birds while you're bird watching. In this case, hide, I think, is a skin, and skin ending in in, feels like it goes nicely with that G to give us an ing ending. We already have said that we're going to put that in rig, so let's put our I there. That gives us risking or taking a chance. Fiber used for ropes is aligned. Whew. Now surface reading. Fiber used for ropes gives you a very specific mental image. It gives you a very specific few words that you start thinking about. That's not helpful. So ropes are often made of hemp, they were often made of jute. Neither of those is going to be useful. What we've got here is the clue very much misleading us. We're actually looking for another hidden. Used for is doing the work of find it in the following phrase. So in ropes is aligned, we're looking for a fiber. And we didn't ever look up a con, did we? And I am decided that the dictionary website is too slow and buggy. So let's go over here. Sisal carpet. Sisal is the fiber. SISAL is there. Poles, taking in country girl. So here, let's check that out. So over here, poles, I think we got 2 poles that are taking in a country. That gives us a girl. So over here, we're probably looking for north, south, east, or west on our end. We've got our first pole here being the south pole S. Susan? Yes, that does work because USA, I was about to say I'm not looking forward to trying to think of a 3-letter country, but there we go, Susan. USA is a country, poles, south and north, taking in the country gives us Susan. Very clever person. Missing 1 biology class. Okay, so a very clever person is a genius. 1 in Roman numerals is an I. So if we take the I out, we get genus, which is a biology class, not, and again, the surface reading here makes us think of a school class, but this is a biology class as in, classification of an animal. Type, genus, I don't know the other words, but yeah. Goes by bike, holding on in strong winds. Well, if he goes by bike, then he cycles got an E to put in, but whether that goes there or there. Holding on, so we'll go with the word on in there. That gives us cyclones, which is strong wind. I'm held in scorn, turning bright red. Okay, so bright red is crimson. How does that work? It's an anagram. Turning, we're turning some letters. Scorn and I'm. So the I'm is held in scorn. We're going to turn all of that, getting bright red. Okay. Bottom half, this was a lot easier than the top half. Had a look at all of these things, I think. But what are these then? Present. So is this like a word for now, or is this a present and former US president? This is two presidents. Look in shade for hooker. I mean, I'm looking at shade and thinking green, but does that work? Not really. What about male sheep? Getting agitated. So getting agitated could be an anagram indicator. Male sheep is a ram. If you put the word what about that? No. Present, now, here and now. Present, present, give, gift. Present, show. English city. Reelford. What? Well, present. It doesn't feel like it's present US president, does it? Because that would be Trump, or even if it's out of date, that would be Biden. It just doesn't work. Present and former US president. Present, here. I'm here, I'm present. English city. Blandford. Not the right number of letters. Present. English city. What would a hooker be? I mean, it's a synonym for a lady of the night, isn't it? But it's a rugby position. It's something that hooks, like a fishing rod. A hooker. Look in shade. Shade. Shade could be a color. Catches up. If you catch up with catches up What are the other city-states? If you're saying that catches, I catch up, I something, but catches up could end with an S. Does that do anything? Doctor behind. He tries. Doctor behind. I think as soon as I get one of these and one of these, then the others all come into place. What about male sheep? Maybe it's not male sheep. Can I read that as two different books? Male could be just M. What about it? Take a word for what. It doesn't really work, does it? Getting agitated. Getting agitated feels like it's going to be something up. What about male? What if we do it differently? A. But then what's the sheep doing? What about male? I mean, what could sheep be other than ram? Ram, you, lamb, L-A-M-B. BP isn't a word, so that can't be right. If we had U in there, EW, ep doesn't really work. If we like P there, and I think we do for picture, that's got to be like app, ep, ip, op, up. It's got to be a vowel. What about? I'm getting agitated. I'm getting wound up. Ram up, mar up. What about male? The question mark at the end feels like it's saying that there's something a little bit punny about it. All right, what I'm going to do here at this point, actually, I'm going to click check puzzle. This is a feature you do have on the Daily Mail website. You can just see what whether all of your letters are right or not. Okay, so actually, it doesn't like alerted. That probably doesn't help. We did say at the time that felt a little dodgy, didn't we? So D-E-T-R-E-A-L, connected. If it's not alerted, what could it be? Related works a lot better. Okay. Does that do anything over here? Look in shade for hooker. Look in shade. For hooker. So again, hooker could be a line. If you look in shade. shadow. Oh, yeah, with the R there, that does become here. I'm present, I'm here. Former US President Ford, English city, Hereford. What about if you're getting agitated, you're getting het up? Okay, so I'm guessing then that a tup is another word for a male sheep. Tup meaning, yeah, it's another word for a ram. Okay. So ram was doing us a lot of, causing us a lot of pain then. Look in shade for hooker. So a hooker, could a hooker be a talon? Is hooked, it is designed to hook a thing, to, you know, I think I'm going to go for that. I think at this point I'm going to put in Spartan. I'm going to check again and see how we're doing. Yeah, so I still don't quite understand why Spartan works there. But that's fine. He tries to do his job. He tries to do his job. Doctor. Okay, so if doctor is DR, behind here isn't a positioning word. In nautical terms, if you're behind something, you're aft of it. And a preliminary version is a draft. He tries. He tries. The judge tries people at his job. There we go. Oh, it's tricky in some places, but we got there in the end. Admittedly, we did have to check up here, but we took a guess at Spartan. So it could be a little bit better, but not too bad, I think, for the most part. Okay, well, if you enjoyed that, then come back for the next one. We'll see how we land. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.